Hello, everybody. Now, when I started on this quest to try to identify the, few Y chromosomes, I never expected to be able to identify almost every single Y chromosome there is today. Of course, it might take a while to completely identify everyone, but I just have the whole map is covered, basically. Hello, Jeremy Martin. How you doing? God bless. I have just about identified every single Y chromosome that has a letter designation out there. I mean, not every sub designation, but of course, because there's thousands of them. But every major letter designation, I've been able to assign a name to them. So let me see if I can get started here. And see if I can explain them. Okay, so let's go to the file here. And I'll go straight to the, what's this? This is the L. That would be the L chromosome. I need the other one. I need this one here. Okay. So these should be just about all of them. They're not all of them, but they're just about all of them. I had trouble in the Semitic. I had trouble with finding Lud, but it turns out, we got a separation here between F and F2. They're two totally different lines, the F and the F2. So that means the Arameans or the Syrians are differentiated from Lud. Check that out. That means I got another letter designation for Lud. Now, all I have to do is find out which is which, and I'll be able to assign the letter designation. So, F comes first, of course, which is the Arameans and Lud. Then there's the Assyrians. Of course, these are the Syrians. The Arameans are the Syrians. So there's the FGH, and the H is the Elamites. So we have the Elamites, the Arameans, Lud, and Asher, Assyrians. And that is all the sons of, actually the sons of Shem, right? When you consider Arphaxad. So it's Arphaxad, Aram, Elam, Lud, and Asher. And Arphaxad. Arphaxad is the progenitor of the line of Abraham, the Eber. And I just had a huge revelation, which I don't know why I never thought about it before. I mean, I've been thinking about these things for a long time. And I probably heard it before, it just probably went right by me. Okay, we know who the I and the J are, but if we go, let me go back here. If we go to a map, let's say that has Iberia on it. Well, can't find a map with Iberia. Oh, well, I'll go here. So, this is Iberia, right? Now, I've heard people say people go through these, all this Israelite stuff, and the British people are Israelites, and Germanic people are Israelites, and all of Europe has, of course, we've found out, we've seen that all of Europe has um, Israelite mtDNA. But this one thing, Portugal and Spain is known as Iberia, right? The Iberian Peninsula. Of course, we've heard it ever since we were kids. Iberian Peninsula. Yeah, it's the Iberian Peninsula. Portugal, of course, there was a Portuguese sailor or merchant. He was trying to go sail around Africa to India. He got caught in a storm, got lost, became lost. Let me see if I can find this here. Okay, here, this is good. So this Portuguese, oh, this is no good. Hold on. I'll find it yet. So we got this, I guess this is good as I can find right now. So yeah, so this Portuguese explorer was going to go around the tip of Africa to India. He was a merchant sailor, right? He's going to India. So they find out, I recently was talking to somebody. They found out that if they went out farther, they would catch the winds and the currents and stuff that would take them around faster around the tip of Africa to go to India. So this Portuguese explorer, experienced explorer, he takes that route out here, out farther, to catch the winds and the currents that are going faster, to take him around faster around the tip of Africa. But what happened was misfortune happened. He got caught in a storm, and the storm carried him over here, and he ran into Brazil. And that's why I speak Portuguese today. just the irrelevant story there, but anyway, where was I? So yeah, we have these. Where am I? We have these Y chromosomes. See if I can name them all, just by looking at the letters. Okay. Of course, I don't know the names of the A and the B, but I know they're descendants from Cush, the same as the C and the D, because they're sub-Saharan African mostly. The E1B1 is probably Canaan. Of course, there's two branches. One is probably European. This is E1B1A. E1B, I got to find where this E1B1A is. It looks European, but I'm not sure. At any rate, Einstein was an E1B1. And Desmond Tutu, Nelson Mandela, they were E1B1s. And Einstein and even Hitler was an E1B1. So they're probably descendants of Canaan, maybe, perhaps. And of course, there's the E2 and there's E3s and stuff, which complicates things, which I'm not going to be able to name all these letter designations. I can't name the D either. The Andamanese that have the DY chromosome that goes up into Tibet. Half of the Tibetan population is a DY chromosome, so that means half of the male population of the Tibetans are direct descendants of Cush. And 1/3 of the Japanese population are direct descendants of Cush. 1/3 of the Japanese population. That's the northern Japanese, the ones with the beards and the wavy hair. the dark hair, the wavy curly hair, whatever. They're direct descendants of Cush, DY chromosome. Of course, the CY chromosome went all the way into America. The Olmec statues are statues with Asian, African features very, very early on. So the CY chromosome was in America very, very early on, and the CY chromosome is there to this day in the Waorani and the Quechuas and the different Indian tribes there with the CY chromosome to this day. Nimrod's CY chromosome is in America, in the area of the Olmec statues. So then what's missing here, the elephant in the room here, which is not even it's not even registered here in this chart, are three groups. The Phoenicians, the Egyptians, and the Cushites aren't even here. They're not even registered here. They're all E3. Phut is E3, Mitzrayim is E3, Cushites are E3. And of course, a lot of people have a problem when I say the Berbers are Phoenicians. They're the original Phoenicians, not the later Phoenicians that were going to America, which was a mixed group of the sea peoples, going to America. It was a whole mixed group of people, which I already mentioned. All the Y chromosomes of the people that made it to America. It's the GY chromosome, the BY chromosome, the EY chromosome, the I1, the I2, the J1, the J2, the TY chromosome is highly represented, which is Javan, which is the original Greeks, or this original Greek sea people. There's a huge representation in America from the travel of that time. And the L is the Thracians. The Thracians were the other half of the Greek people. The Thracians have the LY chromosome, and it's throughout the Mediterranean all the way to India as well as the TY chromosome. So the early Greeks got around the TY chromosome and the LY chromosome. They were called the Gentiles in the Bible. And of course, they're the Asiatic Japhethite Y chromosomes. The T and the LY chromosome. It's Tiras and Javan. So then, of course, there's Gomer. And so that means, where am I? The TY chromosome and the LY chromosome. See, this TY chromosome is an ancient lineage, of course. And it's found in America, it's found in India, it's found throughout the Mediterranean. And the LY chromosome is found throughout the Mediterranean all the way to India as well. There's a fairly large representation in India. Of course, the KY chromosome is the Madai. The Madai, the Medes. And the M and the S are the possibly Meshech and Tubal. But notice how far back these letter designations go. They go all the way back to the start. And the only reason why there's a space here is because of the spacing here. But each of these letters goes all the way back to the beginning. That means they separated at the beginning. That means, and because, by the way, at the beginning, every one of these people, all of these people, had the same Y chromosome, obviously, because they're all sons of Noah. So they all started out with the same Y chromosome. So the T, the L, the M, the K, the S, they all had the same Y chromosome originally. So even if you were rooted somewhere, you can't really tell. They somehow they rooted it correctly all the way back at the beginning. And that enables me to name all 7 Japhethite Y chromosomes, which is Magog, Gomer, the TY chromosome, which is Javan, the L, which is the Thracians, the K, which is Madai, and then there's Meshech and Tubal. There's enough Y chromosomes here for all the sons of Japheth. And surprisingly enough, surprise again, there's enough Y chromosome for all the Hamitic people. Because all of these go back to the beginning. This F goes back to the beginning, and this F2 goes back to the beginning. So this F and this F2 are 2 different lines from the beginning. That's why they have them separated, because they're not connected. So they go back to the beginning. So that means we have a letters designation for Lud, which I didn't know if I would be able to find a letter designation for Lud, and it doesn't seem like there would be no descendants of Lud, the descendants of Shem, but there is. Just happens to be right here. F2, F is the Arameans, Syrians. G is the Asher Assyrians. H is the Elamite Dravidians. And that's all the sons of Shem, when you include Arphaxad, which is the J1, the J2, which includes the Arabic population, the Judaic population, as well as the Israelite I1 and I2 populations. So there we have it in a nutshell, sort of. You know, as good as this information is, which doesn't have all the information yet, but we have named all of the descendants of Noah, all of the grandsons of Noah. We've named all of the sons of, well, I mean, not actually, but at least we know who they are. All of the sons of, well, I mean, this information is incomplete anyways to begin with, but we do have all the, yeah, we have, the E3 is not even here, but there's 3 E3s that are separate from each other. There's the Phoenicians, the Egyptians, and the Cushites, and the Canaanites. Those are the 3 grandsons of Noah. Canaan, Phut, Mitzrayim, and Cush. 4 sons of Ham. So they're all named. They all have names, okay? Shemites all have names. Lud, Aram, Asher, Elam, Arphaxad. They all have names. Or do they? I got to double check. But and then Japhethites all have names. All these letter designations all have names to match. So that's about it. I'm pretty sure that's all the sons of Shem, but I'll double check on that. Anyway, we're just about named. We got everybody named pretty much. Shalom, everybody. How's everybody doing? How long will the Y chromosome last? That's a good question. Hopefully it lasts a while longer. God bless. But I'm really surprised that I've been able to name almost every Y chromosome there is. Hate Left Nothing, Jeremy Martin, Honesty Angel. Yeah, I gotta do something here. Hold on. I gotta go here. Where am I? Oops, I lost my place. Actually, Let me go here, see if I can find something here. It's live. Oh, look, Jungle Jargon is live. How about that? Let me size this. Because I got to go here. I got to find this here. Well, there we go. There's my cat in the box. There, okay. All right, sounds good. Let me see. That's amazing. Anyways. All right, ancient. Okay. They all must descend from Adam. Okay, and Bond. James Bond, I mean, Matt Bond is here. And Raymond. And Shalom. Okay, so, yeah, I wanted to invite somebody. Somebody was in the chat with me, asking me to show my sources. I told him to join the stream. He wasn't, apparently he hasn't been able to join the stream or doesn't want to. But it's funny, I gave him all the information that I just put in the description of this video or this live stream. And he's still trying to tell me to name my sources. And I'm trying to tell him, I'll show you where I get all the information. It's, there's a thing called Google or Duckstream or whatever, where you can find all this stuff. So I guess nobody is going to join. So let me see what I can find. Yeah, it's just pretty interesting. I've already done videos on all this information here. And feel like I'm beating a dead horse, as far as this goes. But let me just reemphasize here that basically all of Europe is Semitically, mitochondrially, maternally Israel. Now, I mean, there's people that say that Europe is Israel, Britain is Israel, and it's kind of a racist thing or a racial thing. But Israel is also in China. Israel is in Africa. Israel is probably in Asia. And I've already shown that Israel is in America, So it's not a racist thing, a racial thing. It's just a genetic thing, and it really doesn't matter anyways who you are, because Messiah made it possible for everyone. God gives gifts to those who apparently or seemingly have less ability or gifts, in order for the purpose to make everyone equal. So it's not about race. It's we are who we are. We can't change who we are. We can't change the history of our ancestors of who we are. And but God works everything for His purpose. And it turns out, I'm just surprised that people, I guess this is the elephant in the room right here, is that basically all of Western Europe, including even Russia, parts of Russia, are basically largely the tribes of Israel, descendants of Israel. But yeah, the Iberian, where I was going with the Iberian Peninsula, which I forgot to go, I started talking about the Portuguese explorer, and I forgot where I was. The Iberian Peninsula, that's named after Iberia or Eber. Eber, the Iberian, it's the Hebrew Peninsula, the Iberian Peninsula, Eber. And then there's Gad, there's Daniel, Dan, I mean the tribe of Dan. There's all kinds of names all over Europe that are indicative of the Jewish people wherever they went. And of course the Y chromosome is throughout Europe too. It's just that the Y chromosome gets hammered in the battles and warfare and everything. Looks like the Europe got overrun with the RY chromosome for some reason, partly because of the Jewish Ashkenazis too. Because the Jewish Ashkenazis are a quarter RY chromosome. So the Jewish Ashkenazis brought the RY chromosome to Europe too. So that's another thing. And who knows how much else they brought over. So not only were there like invasions into Europe, but even, of course, the Scythians, all these people that were living up here, had the Y chromosome as well, including the Israelites who were not Judaic, because the Ashkenazis are Judaic. The Ashkenazi Jews are Judaic, and they brought the RY chromosome, as did Israel bring the Y chromosome, because they're in the Scythian area. They're in the area of the RY chromosome too, which is Gomer, of course. So that's, it all contributed to basically cover the map with the RY chromosome. If we can go to another map. So this map here shows the yellow and the red. So everything that's yellow and red is RY chromosome. The N belongs to the O Y chromosome family tree. So that's Magog. The N is the Magog Y chromosome, which they separated early on too. But they do belong to the same family tree. They just separated early on. So the N and the O's, which is this color here, which that's Q. Where's the O? The O is not here. Guess the O is not here. But they belong to the same family tree as the O. They just split a while back. And of course, there's R1Bs and R1As, and I'm not sure exactly what the difference is. But the yellow is the R2. This is R1A and R1B. Oh, there you go. That's the difference. That's the split right there. The yellows are R1A, which are the Ashkenazi R1. So the R1A of the Ashkenazis is the yellow RY chromosome. And so that everywhere where there's a green, light green, this light green here, they have the yellow Y chromosome, which they helped bring into Germany and Eastern Europe, or Europe basically, because this is all full of the green Y chromosome, and this pink Y chromosome, that's me. That's the IY chromosome. So all this pink here, which is huge in Greece. Well, it's this area here. This whole area is I2. But that's half the population right there. It's over half the population when you consider the J and the IY chromosome. It's in Greece, over half the population. Same thing in Turkey, almost half the Y chromosome right there. G is the Assyrians. Here in this part is J, of course, JY chromosome. Yeah, and the pink. Oh, the J and the pink. Yes, over half of the population is either the I or the JY chromosome right here. Here's almost half. Of course, the K is the Medes. The K's is the Medes. We got L here too. L is the newly designated Thracians. Thracians are right here, or were right here. So let's see if we can find an L. We can find an L here. Looks like. Is there an L here? There should be an L here somewhere. I mean, sure, it's here. It's just not showing up very well. What's this? This could be, that's not the L, this is more G. That's Assyrian. But there's probably L too. Let me see. None of these is L, but it's not showing up. But it's a smaller percentage, but it's here. And of course, the L goes all the way. There it is right there. The L are the Thracians. They go all the way to India. And of course, they're throughout the Mediterranean too. It's just not showing up here. But the T should be here. It's not here either. The T should be here too, but it's not here. But it's around here. It might be in here. There's a trace of L right there in Turkey. This is Turkey. So Turkey has L here. It has L here. And that would be the Thracians. And this would be the Q probably. Q is the same family as the R Y chromosome. So the R. So yeah, this over half the population here is either Jewish or Israelite in many cases. So all this pink here, this is all the IY chromosome. This is all the Israelite population in Europe, which includes Spain and Portugal, France, Britain, which, they say the English are the lost tribes of Israel. Well, it's all of Europe, basically. And you can't forget even up into Russia, Scandinavia, all these places. And of course, Italy is Jewish with the JY chromosome. Of course, Greece is Jewish with the JY chromosome and the I. It's a huge IY chromosome. Israelite. And Turkey. So all the way from Italy, this swath here, from Italy all the way to Iran is heavily Judaic in the Y chromosome, like about half the population, or at least a third of the population, which is a huge amount. But anyways, but the appearance seems to be Asiatic Y chromosome, but the reason why we don't look Asiatic is because of this other mtDNA maternal Y chromosome, so that autosomally Europeans are basically Israelites. And I mean, it's just the percentages. It's over like 95% is Israelite and Judaic, especially when you consider the green and the yellow parts here are still Semitic, and they could be um, the mitochondrial DNA from Israel, because they're that's the area where the Israelites are. Anyway, I think we get the idea pretty much. Everybody gets the idea. Oh, yeah, even up in Russia, they have the Semitic DNA. This chat is getting out of control. Let me see. I gotta see. Getting out of control. Might need to let me handle it and slide me a wrench. What we got going? We don't got no racist comments, do we? Okay. I don't want to get no racist comments going here. Either way, because I've been watching some videos that are racist both ways, both glorifying the white person, the white man, and elevating the black man. Either way, I mean, we're all the same thing. We all came from the Levant area. We all came from the Fertile Crescent. We all came from Mesopotamia, and we're all brothers. Especially in Christ, we're all brothers. So, okay, so we're good here. I think so far. I closed out the window, so I guess nobody wants to join. So I guess I'll just go ahead and finish it out here. But I have identified almost every Y chromosome that's out there. And by way of review, I'm sure people want to review it again. I just know there's people that want to review it. Yeah, these pie charts are showing the signature of the Jewish populations, which is interesting. I'll do some more study on that. Of course, the same thing in Portugal, Iberian Peninsula, which is Iber. Iberian is Iber, Iberus, Iberian, Iberia. We call it Iberia in the. See, that's the thing. I even speak Portuguese, and I never thought that Iberia is the Eberland. It never even dawned on me. So, but anyways, so let me see. This is interesting. I don't think I've shown this in this video. So this is interesting because in America we have the Hamitic EY chromosome. See these little brown spots here? That means America. Let me see if I can do this again better. So yeah, that means America, the brown. That means the EY chromosome is in America with a little bit of percentage. The BY chromosome, which is Hamitic 2, is in America. And the CY chromosome, the C3, is not here. See, they're a little bit tricky sometimes, or either intentionally or unintentionally, they're a little bit sneaky here because you have the C2, C1s, you have all these C1s, all these Ds, all these C1s, C2. Where's the C3? C3 is all over the place, and it's not here. But if there was a C3 here, that would show up in America with a huge signature too. So we have Hamitic populations in America. You know, in case anybody doubts it, you have people talking about, the dark-skinned Indians in America and stuff like that. And well, you can't argue with the EY chromosome being America and the BY chromosome, which is the descendants of the EY chromosome in America. You can't argue with that. It's in America. So what are you going to do? Not only that, we have the Assyrians, and the Javans and the Gomers in America. So this is Gomer, the Javan, and the Assyrians in America. In the days of Solomon, they had the copper mines, the Phoenicians. This is basically the Phoenicians that went to America, including probably these two from Africa or from North Africa. Okay. Not only do we have the Assyrians, we see the Assyrians, the Javans, which are Japhethite, and the Gomers, which are Japhethite. We also have the I1, which is me. My Y chromosome is in America, the American Indians. I2 is in America. The J1, which is the Arabic population in America, which is to be expected, North Africa, Arabic. The J2, you actually have people from Judah. Not very many, but there's a signature of J2 in America. So you have all these signatures of all these people in America from the time of Solomon that were mining copper and gold and silver and whatever and bringing it into the temple in the days of Solomon. So that's pretty interesting there. So, and to wrap it up, hopefully, let me see if we're still good here. Brandon, how are you doing? Need to find out what Y chromosome I am. My brother-in-law said he's H1. Oh, there you go. H is, I'm just going to go over it again. What is H? H is the Elamites. Believe it or not, your brother-in-law is an Elamite, direct descendant, because those are today's Dravidians in India. The Dravidians are the descendants of the Elamites, the Elamo-Dravidians. That's what they are. So that's very interesting. See, whoever I talk to, I like to ask them what their Y chromosome is, but a lot of people don't know. But yeah, if it's the Y chromosome, if it's the mtDNA, the H is the Jewish Y chromosome. If it's the HDNA, I mean, if it's the mtDNA, but if it's the Y chromosome, it's the Elamites, which I don't know why they have it so confusing, but that's what it is. So let me just go ahead and go through them again real quick. Let me see. Actually, I got it here. Is this it? Yeah. Okay, so the Simmons Genome Diversity Project Y chromosome phylogeny. Now, this is scientific evidence of each family tree, of each of the three sons of Noah. And they are all in their own family trees. Each one is in their distinct family trees. But anyways, Let me go through. The RY chromosome, I was able to identify, at least tentatively, by way of that it was Gomer, because Gomer had a son named Ashkenaz, and the Ashkenazi Jewish population have like a 0.25% of their Y chromosome is R1A. So that is Gomer. And of course, the Gomer had other descendants besides Ashkenaz, probably. And then the largest population, the largest Japhethite population is the O population, which in the end belongs to the same family tree. The N is connected to the O, even though they're separated by, geographically. You can tell way back when that they were connected at one time in the past. So the N population, maybe about the time of Abraham, separated from the O population, but it's really the same family tree. And this is the largest population on Earth, by the way. The O's by themselves are the largest population on Earth. And the N belongs to the same family tree. So then there is the TY chromosome, which the TY chromosome has always been interesting to me because if you may have noticed, I mention it once every now and then because it is often associated or sometimes associated with the Jewish people, and it's an ancient line. You can see how ancient it is. It goes way back, of course, to the beginning. It turns out that they seem to be the Javan early Greek sea peoples, which later became part of the Phoenician group that, of course, mixed with the Jewish people and even went to America, as we just saw. So the T will be the Javan. The L will be the Thracians. So this is Javan, this is Tiras. Tiras is the father of the Thracians, which is the LY chromosome. The Thracians go all the way to India because what Alexander the Great, Alexander the Great, when he conquered the world, some of the T and the L went all the way to India, apparently, from what it looks like. But then we have the question of the Neanderthals, and I was thinking about that. The Neanderthal Y chromosome is said to be extinct. Yes, it is. But if it were to exist, it would probably break off from this L Y chromosome or the T, or both. Because if you remember, the ones that are most closely related to the Neanderthals are the Asian Japhethite people. That's because the Neanderthals belong to the same family tree. Of course, they probably broke off early on and then went extinct or whatever. But the point being is that they have, since let's say the Neanderthals broke off here and went extinct, how are they going to know what their Y chromosome would have been today? There's no possible way that they could even know what their Y chromosome could have been or would have been today. So that's why they say it's extinct, that nobody is descended from them. Of course, nobody's descended from them because they went extinct. That was the end of the line for the Neanderthals. But they still belong to the same family tree, this Asian Japhethite family tree. That's why the Asians have more Neanderthal DNA than the rest of the world. But you're not going to know which line they connect up to. I'm going to say it's either the T or the L because those are the ones in Europe. but the reason why they can't tell it connects to the L or the T is because they don't know what the Neanderthal Y chromosome would look like today, and so they can't tie it back or connect it up, or they just don't want to connect it up to the L and the T because those are the populations in Europe. So that's what I believe, because this is filled. This is all the sons of, I have all the sons of Japheth here accounted for. Because then we got Meshech and Tubal, which apparently there's only whatever went to Asia is left, because it goes all the way back to the beginning. It breaks off from the very start. You can see, breaks off from all the way back in the beginning. And this K is Madai. So I'm just designating the M and the S as Meshech and Tubal. You know, I don't know which is which yet, but that's just how I'm going to designate it, because they are Japhethites, and these are Japhethites, and they had to have come from somebody who was the son of Japheth, so it's probably Meshech and Tubal, because the K is Madai, because that's the Medes. The K is the Medes from Madai. The Madai are the Medes, and the rest of the people are accounted for. We got Magog, we have Gomer, we have Javan and Tiras, Madai, Meshech, and Tubal. That's everybody. It's 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 sons of Japheth. Okay. Now, for the Arphaxad, we have the J and the I, which is not at all exhaustive, because of course there's the J1, the J2, and they're all through Europe, and major populations here. The J2 is split between the J1, the J2. J1 is Arabic, J2 is Judaic, all sons of Abraham. These I is sons of Abraham too. And I don't know which J this is. Could be the Arabic J, it could be the Judaic J, it could be both. I don't know. I'm thinking it's one or the other because it looks like one basic family tree here. Then we have the F, which is Aram of the Arameans, which is its own family tree. Then we have another F too. We got 2 Fs here. They're 2 different family trees, as you can clearly see. They're broke off all the way from the beginning. So I'm designating the F2 as Lud for right now, until I figure out which is which between the Arameans and Lud. But apparently the Arameans are F. So that means Lud is the F2. And the H, of course, is the Elamite Dravidians. The G is Asher of the Assyrians, the first runaway kingdom, basically, that existed, apparently. But I was learning about African history. They had the same runaway kingdoms as the Mesopotamians, and so they had they had rich kingdoms with gold and silver. But it sounds like I'm telling a story. But in Africa, they had rich kingdoms that traded gold and silver and all this stuff, and just like you had the Assyrians, the Syrians, the Arameans or whatever they were, Elamites, all these people, they get out of control. The powers get out of control. The powers go to their head. They had rich kingdoms in Africa as well. They had, with rich gold and silver and kingdoms, and we got E1B1, which is probably Canaan. And we E1B1A, which I don't know, maybe that's the Canaanites that went to Europe. I don't know. But anyways, what's missing from this Hamitic family tree would be the Phoenician E3, the Mitzrayim E3, and the Cushite E3. Because if they were here, the CY chromosome would branch off from the E3 Cushite tree, and the DY chromosome would branch off from the E3 Cushite tree. And apparently the E2 does too. And but anyways, and the E1 is probably Canaan. And the A and the B are pretty much sub-Saharan Africans as well. They branch off from the E3 Cushite tree as well. So there's a lot of information missing here, but we've basically identified everything that there is. Every letter designation is basically almost all identified. We have names for each of these letters. I just gave the name for each of these letters with the exception of the A and the B, which happen to branch off from the major E3 sons of Ham, because there was only 4 sons of Ham. They're Canaan, Phut, Mitzrayim, and Cush. And of those 3, there's only 1 son of Ham here, which is the E1B1, if that's Canaan. So the other 3 E3s aren't even in this picture. So we need to get some better information here. And when we do, of course, the prediction is that the D and the Manese branch off from the E3 Cushites, and the C Nimrod Y chromosome, which is the C1, C2, C3, C4, C5, I think, goes to all over Asia, all the way to America. Of course, Nimrod had was the first kingdom over the whole world in Mesopotamia, basically. He was the king when Abraham smashed his father's idols. His father apparently was the sculptor for Nimrod. And when Abraham smashed his father's idols and put the hammer in the biggest idol's hand and said the biggest idol did it, he got in trouble with Nimrod. It was Nimrod that he got in trouble with, and he had to flee for his life because of Nimrod, who was king of the land. It was Nimrod that Abraham fled, and then Nimrod's prophets or soothsayers said that this guy, even before Abraham was born, or when Abraham was born, Abraham's father had to deliver somebody else's kid or another kid in place of Abraham to be killed because Nimrod's prophets said that the one born from what is it, Abraham's father? Who is it? The Terah? I forget. Abraham's father. Anyways, he said that the seed of the baby that was born to Abraham's father would kill Nimrod. And so when Nimrod sent for the baby Abraham to be killed, and Abraham's father gave him another baby to kill the other baby. So already we're having other babies being killed in place of Abraham. Then when Abraham smashed his father's idol, he got in trouble with Nimrod, and Nimrod found out that Abraham was still alive. He thought he had killed him. And so Abraham fled for his life. He fled probably to Jerusalem or Salem at the time. where the king of Salem was probably Shem, according to tradition. So Abraham was raised by Shem after after he smashed his father's idol. He was raised by Shem, and then he came back, and then they captured Abraham, threw him in the furnace, and the people that threw him in the furnace and the other people, he threw, I think, Abraham's brother in with him into the furnace. His brother died, but Abraham didn't die. Of course, this is all tradition. This is all extra biblical, but this is just how the story goes. And but anyways, Abraham didn't die in the fire, so he came out and they gave him gifts and sent him away or whatever. Depending on what story you go, but because there are several different stories that have several different versions apparently. But anyways, to make a long story short, Esau was a hunter too, like Nimrod was a great hunter. Esau was the seed of Abraham, was Jacob's son Esau. According to one source, killed Nimrod. I don't know if it's the same Nimrod or if it's a descendant of Nimrod or whatever, but anyways, it was Esau who was another hunter, a rival hunter, was envious, jealous, or whatever, that is said to have killed Nimrod. Then he runs for his life, and then that's why Esau traded away his birthright for some food or whatever, because he was about to die, because he just ran from his guards or killed his guards or ran from his armies, Nimrod's armies, and was dying of starvation. That's why he traded away his birthright. I know. That's how the story goes. Now you know the rest of the story. But anyway, so there was oh yeah, so the kingdoms, so Nimrod was killed, but there was a house of Nimrod. And the records say the house of Nimrod became subdued after a while, after all of Nimrod's kingdoms fell. All of the cities, the different kingdoms all around, fell after Nimrod was killed. But the house of Nimrod remained subdued for a time, says the record. So this is the house of Nimrod, the CY chromosome that spread all over Asia, all the way to America, all over the rest of the world, because he was the first king. He was a wicked king, but he was the first king over the whole earth. And he was king at the time of Abraham. So now you know the rest of the story. And the DY chromosome is probably Nimrod's brother. One of Nimrod, another is his brother. Apparently, never went to Africa either. Just like Nimrod, he went east. He became the father of half of the Tibetans today are descended from the DY chromosome. 1/3 of the Japanese population is descended from the DY chromosome. The Japanese with the beards and the curly hair, those are the descendants of the DY chromosome. And, DNA doesn't lie. So that's about that. Guess I just destroyed another live stream. pretty well. So how many variations are in the Y chromosome? Okay, that was the diagram that I was just showing. A lot. Some variations were wiped out, presumably. Yeah, the Neanderthals were wiped out, and they have no idea what the Neanderthal Y chromosome would have been today, so they can't really tie it up, or they don't want to tie it up with a living Y chromosome. Let's see. Okay. How does the Y chromosome correlate to DNA? The Y chromosome is the paternal male direct descendant DNA designation. So in this chart here that we were looking at, all these are the Y chromosomes. These are all Y chromosome male paternal line descendants. So for example, my Y chromosome is an IY chromosome. So this is my family tree. Someone else in the chat said that their brother-in-law was an HY chromosome. They would be descended from Elamites. This is an Elamite family tree. You know, if you have the C Nimrod Y chromosome, I was talking with somebody from Puerto Rico or somewhere. He said he had a CY chromosome because, of course, the seafaring people, the sailors, probably came from the Philippines into Puerto Rico with a CY chromosome. So he's a direct descendant of Nimrod, who has the CY chromosome, who is the son of the E3Y chromosome, who is a Cushite, who is the father of the sub-Saharan African people, which is the A and the B, and probably the E2 and the D, and the Manese as well, have African features. In fact, they're very, very black. The Andamanese are very black in the Andamanese Islands. The Tibetans have a DY chromosome. Half of the Tibetans have a DY chromosome. 1/3 of the Japanese population have a DY chromosome. So they're direct descendants of Cush that has a E3Y chromosome. Okay, the other ones these are Semitic, these are Hamitic, sons of Ham, sons of Shem, sons of Japheth, Japhetic. The Japhethites are the Asian populations. The Semitic populations are Semitic, and the Hamite populations are Hamite, but not necessarily African, because some of them never went to Africa. Like the C and the D never even went to Africa from Mesopotamia, because Nimrod was the king in the land of Shinar, Mesopotamia. He was the first king of the whole world, because he was a great hunter and he was like a great man. First great king over the whole world was Nimrod. And his house, his descendants, the house of Nimrod, traveled east all over Asia, all the way to America, all the way south to Australia, basically all over the world as you go east. So that's about it. Again, that's about it again. I guess I left the banner up, so maybe it probably blocked something. But anyway, that's okay. So that's about it. I guess I'll cut it off. See, I wanted to invite somebody that wanted to critique my designations, specifically the skeptics and such. But apparently they were too much afraid to come have a discussion with me. Okay. Not sure outside of it. Make sure the things. All right. Good night, everybody. And God bless everybody. Take care. Stay close to God. God is not a respecter of persons. There we go. He's not a respecter of persons. He loves each and every one of us. That all we have to do is draw near to His Word. His Word will cleanse us. His Word will give us faith. His Word will sanctify us. So that God gets all the glory for everything that He accomplishes in our lives. And there is no respecter of person. There is no, you know, there's no, you know, when we bring the gospel to everybody, we bring the same gospel to everybody, and it's not up to us how they react to the gospel. And so that's in God's hands. But as far as we are concerned, the gospel is for everybody. All you have to do is believe. If you believe, you draw near to God, you're sanctified, you're cleansed. And if you don't like God, you will not draw near to God, and you will basically seal your fate because you will not listen to his spirit that he sent to you, by the way, who's shedding